Hello, you awesome people, and welcome back to another Let's Play. And I just can't wait anymore. I mean, Linda seems to have found something. Let's see if we can help Lisa out of that pink crack in the woods. So let's see. I've been looking all night, and I think I found an old note from the mid 18th century. Listen to this. Oh boy. The legend of the Sleeping Widow goes back far in time. When the light of Aideen spread over Jorvik and life was brought to the island, a handful of life wardens were created, whose task was to guard the growing life, to shield it, and warn it if the flora and fauna of the island were ever threatened. These life wardens came into existence in the form of trees that would forever live on Jorvik. The humans discovered these trees, respected them, and let them live. The humans understood the trees were special, ancient, and that they served a higher purpose. The humans came to call them Primewall trees. The Primewall trees had different looks and abilities and were much stronger and more magnificent in the olden days, the glory days. Today, most of the trees slumber. They sleep, tired and haggard. Lessened in power now, not only least by the exploitation of Jorvik's natural resources. It is said that the roots of the Primewall trees penetrated all of Jorvik, and that the roots are linked together in an enormous network through which they can communicate. Awesome, huh? Like an ancient internet, kinda. You want to hear a little more, right? It's a fascinating story which I just have to share with you, and it's important that you understand. You and I know of one of these Primewall trees, the one on top of Scarecrow Hill. As the legend of the Golden Apple foretold, the witches have actually destroyed several Primewall trees, but they only went for the trees that produced the golden apples, which the wicked witches shun. Other Primewall trees were left alone. According to my writings, some kind-hearted witches have actually formed alliances with the Primewall trees to help strengthen their magical powers. At least a half a dozen Primewall trees are known to exist today, mentioned in various records. There would be a lot more. In one place, one of the trees goes by the name of the Sleeping Widow. To understand this, we need to go far back in history, but I'll be brief. Once upon a time, the Forgotten Fields was a dense, enormous forest, at least as magnificent as Greendale. The forest was protected by two Primewall trees that were a happy couple. Everything was great, they were happy together, and the forest flourished, until the Earl built Jarlaheim. When Jarlaheim was built, a great part of the forest was cut down, and the growing population in the area took down more of the forest to make both firewood and more building materials. A stable was also needed for the Earl's cavalry. Jorvik Stables was built, which later housed hundreds of horses. As more and more of the forest was destroyed, the landscape opened up and made room for necessary grazing grounds where all the Earl's horses could graze and run around during the day. In the blind eagerness of mankind, which often arises in their simple minds during times of great expense, the foresters unfortunately cut down one of the two Primewall trees in the area. It was a grievous mistake, but the damage was already done and it was irreversible. The surviving Primewall tree became lonely, and it grieved over the loss of its life companion. She lost her she lost her will to live. Through her grief and through mankind's eager destruction and the grazing and stomping of the Earl's horses, the forest eventually died. During the centuries that have passed since the Primewall tree became lonely, her wailing has sometimes been heard of the wind. A wail much like a persistent howl which swoops around with the gusts across the windswept hills. And so there stood one lonely Primewall tree and the Forgotten Fields. The area got its current name, the Forgotten Fields, after the Earl's cavalry, and all the horses were no longer in Jorvik stables. The lost forest and the grazing grounds were later forgotten since the area no longer served any purpose for the humans. So much grief for such a short chapter in history. They say that the wailing of the primeval trees can no longer be heard. It's not because she has stopped grieving, but rather that she has fallen asleep of exhaustion, resignation, and sorrow. She's on death's doors, if she isn't dead already, but we hope she's not, of course. With this knowledge in mind, it's an easy conclusion to draw that the old tree in the southwest corner of Sorgarden Fields actually is identical to this sleeping widow. How everything is connected to Lisa's current critical location in Pandoria, I can't quite figure out. But if she says the tree must be woken, I guess we'll wake it. I myself would have tried to make my way to Pandoria and try to save her there, but it's extremely risky, not to mention impossible to return from there after. But how do you wake a magical slumbering primeval tree? So much history and a really interesting story. So how can we wake her up? Moving tale, poor primeval trees. I think you should talk to Elizabeth directly. It seems obvious that this primeval tree and sleeping widow can't just be woken up by the regular alarm clock. Can't be woken up. If anyone has any idea what kind of magic would be required to awake a slumbering primeval tree, it would be Elizabeth. And Rose, I have a feeling you'll need to use your fragment of the light of Aideen. If you're not already carrying it in your bag, you should stop by the storage in your stable and bring it with you to Elizabeth. That would save you a lot of time. Good luck. I have it with me, it's fine. It's good. Let's go to Elizabeth, our old friend. And here is Jarvis waiting for me. As always, let's go and take the transport to Velvel. Whee! The village. Yeah, that was a lot of history. It's so sad. They just cut down, like, the Forgotten Fields are just so plain. And to know that it actually was a huge forest is quite sad. It would be nice if we would sort of be able to regrow a little bit to have a bigger forest there again. Hello, Elizabeth. What a tale, what a turns out of events. We must indeed wake up the sleeping widow to see if she can rescue Lisa. If Lisa says it's so, then it must be the way to rescue her from Pandoria. If it doesn't work, we'll try to find another way. Maybe the roots of the primeval tree reach further than we could ever imagine. Anyway, I know of two things that can shake the ancient primeval tree enough to give it the energy it needs to wake up. The tree needs light, strength, and water. You must do three things. 1. Fill a bottle with the tears of Aideen. You know, the dew from the flowers of Aideen that grow around here. 2. Energize the fragment with the light of Aideen by the runestones up here, in the same way you did last time. You need to have your fragment with you. If you don't have it in your bag, you'll find it in the storage in your stable. You can't have lost it, so it has to be somewhere, I promise you. The third thing you need to do is to illuminate the tree with the energized fragment and water it with the tears of Aideen, and these two tasks needs to be performed at night. During the night the magic is undisturbed by the bustle and light of daytime, and the effect of Aideen's power is much stronger. Really? Okay. Take the rune stick and ride up to the rune stones behind the house and energize your fragment of the light of Aideen. This time do it like this. First, use the rune stone on the rune stone of the sun, and then place the fragment onto the rune stone to energize the shard with the light of Aideen. If you can't find the fragment in your bag, it will be in the storage in your stable. You know, a white shining stone. I know you can't have lost it. I wonder how many who has actually mailed support saying, I don't have the stone. So, because I mean, they have said now, I think, 3 to 4 times. saying, yeah, okay, now 5. Saying that this is probably somewhere. Don't you try. It's probably somewhere. Take this purple tear-shaped bottle and gather up as much dew as you can find on the flowers of Aideen. You need it to water the primeval tree, the sleeping widow. Okay, so let's start with the stone first. Yes, I have it, yeah. But yeah, that is actually quite hilarious how it feels like, okay, they probably have a lot of people mailing support or contacting in some way saying like, I can't continue because I don't have a stone, I probably did something, and it's like, no, it's probably there. It looks like this. It's awake and let's place this there. What am I doing? Cute. Now we're done. Thank you. I think this place needs a bit of an update. It's quite sad with just the stones. A bit of an update would have been nice. So the flowers. Ah. There we go. How many did I need? Oh, 106. Fine. It's been so long since I did these quests. It's quite... Oh, I just can't. Oh, I don't even remember that much. So this is really fun to do again. Five and then 6. There we go. Okay, let's return. Oops, sorry, cow. Should I move to Valedale? I mean, now with all the transport, how easy it is to move around, I feel like I should move to Valedale. It's my home, I love it here. And something tells me I will actually have to need it someday. Magnificent, the fragment has been energized with great power. You fill the bottle, well done. Here, take the full bottle with you. You're ready to go to the sleeping widow. Wait for the night, then wake her on your way. On your way, take the detour past Starshine and update him on what has been happening so that he'll know what's going on and is ready to help Lisa out of the crack, provided you succeed in waking the tree. That is true. Yeah, let's do this. So we're gonna take the transport to Gold Spurs, because it is that easy now. Then go by Starshine and then go and wake that sleeping tree. So to Gold Spurs Farm. There we go. My neck just feels so stiff. Don't know why though. Turn. Going up to the top. La 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 la. And then turn here, because he's up here somewhere. And also take a bit of a chill pill here, because it is a bit of a tricky road to get down. Go. Then up here. And he should be here. Hey, Starshine, how you doing? How is Lisa? Rose, how's it going? I've almost lost touch with Lisa, and this blasted crack is about to close on itself. Panic! So you found out who the Sleeping Widow is. Do tell. Oh, it's a tree. So the Sleeping Widow is a primeval tree. Interesting. It's not that far-fetched an idea. Well done, Rose. And of course, Linda too. Now let's hope that whatever is binding Lisa and the Sleeping Widow's fate together also saves Lisa. We'll have our answers tonight. I'll stay behind, ready to help Lisa when you awake the primeval tree. I should be able to keep the crack open till midnight at least. Go to the primal tree of the Forgotten Fields and wait until nightfall to perform the necessary ritual. Best of luck. May the light of Aideen be with you. Oh, sorry. I was get worried that my that my mic wasn't on. I was like, wait, have I been recording for 15 minutes and my mic was off? But it's on, it's on, it's on. It's really weird microphone that I have. Oh, this might have been a very wrong turn. Oof. Skills, I guess. Although that was just stupid. I should just go up here and write. Yeah, anyway, because it's sort of, I don't know. I sort of understand what they mean when I have my microphone on and off. I have this sliding thing on the cord. And when it is up, there is a green button showing, which means the microphone is on. Although I'm more used to that you have to push the button to the green to turn it on, so that the red is showing, because if you want it off, then you push it to the red. So yeah, it has been times when I'm like, why isn't it working? It should be on, and then it's like, well, oh, okay. It's the other way around. So yeah, but it should be fine. I was really worried. I was like, no, don't tell me. No. Okay, but yes, let's focus to the primal tree now, and we're gonna get Lisa out of it. Not out of the tree, but out of the crack. Turning this way, then up, and we should be there. There it is! Look how majestic of a tree. It's quite cool. Okay. The primal tree slumbers deeply. It's surrounded by an aura of heavy grief, and an overwhelming weakness washes over you, as if the tree relentlessly weighs you down with its great sadness over the mistakes of mankind. Mistakes that made this tree lose its beloved life companion. It's really sad. In this state of mind, it's going to be hard staying awake until tonight's big task. You can only awaken the primal tree at midnight. Await nightfall here. Okay, we're waiting. Well, I hope we brought some dinner or something, since we're gonna be waiting for quite some time. Oh, here it comes. Here comes the night! Ooh. Scary. You and Antigos almost fell asleep by the tree. No, we didn't. By sheer force of will, you managed to stay awake. It is now midnight. The primal tree seems thirsty after centuries of grief, as if it hasn't drunk from the life-giving water in a long time. Can I... Yep. Water, so full of strength and life. 18? Oh wait, it should be an old lady, right? Great. It's probably an old lady, yeah. The primal tree seems pale after centuries of grief, and as if it hasn't embraced the light of the sun in a very long time. Have some light, tree! By the light of Aideen, who are you? And what have you done with Aideen? Good morning! Or good night, actually. Are you the one who awakens me? Are you the one who opens my eyes with the light of Aideen? moistens my throat with her tears, and makes my tree creak and crackle as is in the days of my youth. Is it you who's doing this? For Lisa's sake? Yeah, help me. By the distant ghost of my roots, who are you? Who fights for the light in these dark times? Let's wait and watch. Let me think and creak and crackle for a little while. It's been a long time since my branches murmured and my mind crept into action. Let's creak and crackle here for a while. I promised Lisa, and promises are made to be kept, even those made by humans. But why should I keep a promise to the people who betrayed me? But you are more than that. You're not only a human, you're the bringers of the light of Aideen. They fight for the same cause, so as I do. Lisa persuade me. My roots reached her in the abominable prison. She needed help, and she promised to help me if she was rescued. To help you would help Lisa, which would help me. I shall do what I can. Watch and learn. Okay. This is epic, people. How cool! Okay. My force is not very strong. It's far from what I'd hope. I wonder if my strength was enough. I must rest now. I'm so tired. Find your friends. Behold the result of my success, or vanish forever because of my possible failure. I do not know how my attempt went. Well, thank you, I guess. Uh,